I discover something new about those relationships and about those characters every time I see that film. It's of unending interest, I think.
She wasn't just Hollywood's golden girl. She was a force of nature. With elegance that dazzled, grace that captivated, and performances that etched themselves into history, Olivia de Havilland seemed untouchable. But behind the glitz and glamour, she was fighting battles no one dared to face. She took on Hollywood's most powerful studio and won. She faced off against her own sister in a feud that shook Tinseltown. Her life wasn't the picture-perfect fantasy her films portrayed. It was a story of courage, defiance, and triumph. How did she defy the odds and leave a legacy that shattered the rules of an entire industry? Get ready to uncover the thrilling tale of a woman who changed Hollywood forever. Olivia de Havilland was born on July 1, 1916 in Tokyo, Japan. Her British parents, Walter and Lillian, had moved there for work. Walter was a professor and patent attorney, while Lillian was a former actress who had given up her career to raise a family. Olivia's childhood was steeped in a rich blend of cultures. She grew up hearing the melodic chimes of temple bells mixed with her mother's English lullabies. Cherry blossoms lined the streets of her neighborhood, creating an enchanting backdrop for a childhood filled with stories and rituals from both East and West. Lillian, who had a deep love for the arts, filled their home with music and creativity. She would often play the piano and tell vivid tales from her acting days, sparking Olivia's imagination. But beneath this idyllic facade, the family faced mounting struggles. Walter's work frequently kept him away, and rumors of his infidelity cast a shadow over their lives. The tension eventually reached a breaking point. Walter proposed, sending Olivia to live with a Japanese family, hoping she'd better immerse herself in the local culture. But Lillian fiercely opposed the idea, unwilling to part with her daughters. In a bold and decisive move, she chose to leave Japan entirely. In 1919, Lillian secretly boarded a ship to San Francisco with Olivia and her younger sister Joan, leaving Walter behind for good. This upheaval marked the first of many defining moments in Olivia's life. Life in California was starkly different from Japan. The family settled in Saratoga, a small town south of San Francisco. Lillian hoped the clean air would strengthen Joan, who was often sick. Their new home was modest compared to their large house in Tokyo, but Lillian worked tirelessly to provide for her daughters. Drawing on her acting experience, she began teaching drama, and it wasn't long before Olivia began showing a spark of her own. Olivia's early years in Saratoga were deeply shaped by her mother's influence. Lillian's drama lessons were brimming with passion and storytelling, and Olivia often sat in on classes, captivated by the magic of performance. It was during these moments that her love for acting began to blossom. At school, Olivia's talent became impossible to ignore. At just 14, she was cast as the lead in Alice in Wonderland. The stage brought her to life in a way she had never experienced before. She felt free, immersed in the story, and her ability to bring characters to life impressed everyone around her. Yet not everyone saw the potential. Her stepfather, George Fontaine, dismissed acting as a frivolous distraction. When Olivia refused to give it up, he gave her an ultimatum: stop acting or leave home. Olivia, showing an early glimpse of the determination that would later define her career, chose to leave. She moved in with family friends, continuing her passion for acting in school and local theater productions. This chapter of Olivia's life was defined by resilience and ambition. Her formative years in Japan had instilled a unique perspective, blending cultural sensitivity with a fierce sense of individuality. Meanwhile, Lillian's unwavering support and belief in the transformative power of storytelling provided a solid foundation for Olivia's future success. These early years were more than just formative. They set the stage for a journey that would challenge and ultimately reshape the Hollywood system itself. In 1934, at just 18 years old, Olivia's talent caught the attention of an assistant to the renowned director Max Reinhardt. She was offered a position as the second understudy for the role of Hermia in Reinhardt's Hollywood Bowl production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. It seemed like a small opportunity, but fate had other plans. Just a week before the premiere, both the lead actress and the first understudy dropped out. Olivia stepped in and delivered a stunning performance. Reinhardt immediately recognized Olivia's potential. Known for his meticulous approach to theater and film, he took her under his wing, helping her refine her craft. He taught her the importance of physicality and performance, the subtle art of expressing emotions through movement, and the power of connecting with an audience. Reinhardt's methods were both rigorous and inspiring, and Olivia flourished under his mentorship. When Reinhardt decided to adapt A Midsummer Night's Dream into a film for Warner Brothers, he insisted that Olivia reprise her role as Hermia. Initially, Olivia was hesitant. Her dream had always been to become a teacher, not an actress. But Reinhardt, along with a Warner Brothers producer, persuaded her to take a chance on Hollywood. She signed a 5-year contract, earning $200 a week, modest by today's standards, but a significant step for a newcomer. However, Olivia's transition into Hollywood was far from smooth. Her first screen tests were nerve-wracking, and she quickly learned that the glamour of show business came with immense pressure. During her audition for A Midsummer Night's Dream, her costume didn't fit properly and nearly fell apart. Olivia had to pin it together herself, an experience she later described as both humiliating and character-building. The social pressures of Hollywood also weighed heavily on her. As a young actress, Olivia was expected to attend photo shoots, galas, and publicity events, all while maintaining a carefully curated image dictated by the studio. Every aspect of her appearance and behavior was scrutinized, from the way she spoke to the way she dressed. The studio even hired a voice coach to make her sound more American, a move that frustrated Olivia as she felt it stripped her of her individuality. Despite these challenges, she remained determined to prove herself. When A Midsummer Night's Dream premiered in 1935, it was a cinematic spectacle unlike anything audiences had seen before. The production boasted a massive budget and a star-studded cast, and Olivia's performance as Hermia stood out. Critics praised her ability to bring warmth and depth to the character, a testament to Reinhardt's guidance and her own natural talent. The premiere itself was a nerve-wracking experience for Olivia. She even tripped on her dress while walking the red carpet. Yet, despite the nerves and the mishaps, she captivated audiences and established herself as a rising star. Reinhardt's influence on Olivia extended beyond her performance in A Midsummer Night's Dream. He instilled in her a sense of discipline and a deep respect for the craft of acting, lessons that would stay with her throughout her career. Olivia's success in the film marked the beginning of a new chapter, one that would see her navigate the highs and lows of Hollywood with grace and resilience. Later in 1935, Olivia was paired with Errol Flynn in Captain Blood. At just 19 years old, Olivia was still relatively unknown, and Flynn, a 26-year-old actor, was cast at the last minute after another actor dropped out. From the moment the cameras rolled, their chemistry was electric. They had a playful energy and charm that audiences couldn't resist. When Captain Blood hit theaters, it was an instant hit, earning over $1.35 million, a huge success at the time. Critics loved their performances, and their newfound stardom seemed effortless. Though Olivia later admitted she had a crush on Flynn, he was married, and their connection remained strictly professional. Still, the unspoken tension between them made their on-screen partnership even more compelling. Over the next 6 years, Olivia and Flynn starred in 8 films together, including the 1938 classic, The Adventures of Robin Hood. In this vibrant Technicolor film, Olivia played Maid Marian, and Flynn took on the role of Robin Hood. The movie became one of the biggest hits of its time, earning $4 million at the box office and winning 3 Academy Awards. Their dynamic duo became one of Hollywood's most beloved on-screen pairs. But while Olivia's career was soaring, she began to feel trapped by the roles Warner Brothers assigned her. Often cast as the innocent love interest, Olivia longed for more challenging and complex characters. Little did she know, a life-changing opportunity was just around the corner. In 1939, Olivia desperately wanted the role of Melanie Hamilton in Gone with the Wind. The film, based on Margaret Mitchell's best-selling novel, was already generating buzz as a potential blockbuster. But there was one problem. Warner Brothers refused to loan her out to the film's producers. Determined, Olivia took matters into her own hands. She went directly to Jack Warner's wife, Anne, and convinced her to help. Thanks to Anne's influence, Olivia secured the role. When Gone with the Wind premiered, it became a cultural phenomenon, earning over $32 million, an unheard-of amount at the time. Olivia's performance as the kind and gentle Melanie earned her an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Though she didn't win, the recognition solidified her status as one of Hollywood's top talents. After Gone with the Wind, Olivia's career skyrocketed. No longer just Errol Flynn's co-star, she began taking on more challenging roles. In 1941, she starred in Hold Back the Dawn, earning another Oscar nomination, this time for Best Actress. Though she lost to her sister Joan Fontaine, Olivia had proven she was here to stay. By the early 1940s, she was one of the highest-paid stars in Hollywood, earning $400,000 a year, a fortune for the time. By the early 1940s, Olivia de Havilland had grown increasingly frustrated with the tight grip Warner Brothers held over her career. Like many stars of the Golden Age, she was bound by a restrictive studio contract that dictated nearly every aspect of her professional life. Actors were treated as commodities, assigned roles without consideration for their aspirations or artistic growth. Olivia had endured this system for years, but her breaking point came in 1943. After rejecting several roles she felt were beneath her talents, Warner Brothers imposed multiple suspensions, effectively extending the duration of her contract. These punitive measures weren't just about control, they were a clear message that the studio owned her time. Determined to fight back, Olivia sought legal counsel and discovered a little-known California labor law that limited personal service contracts to a maximum of 7 years. Warner Brothers had been exploiting suspension periods to prolong their contracts, but this law provided Olivia with a potential escape. In August 1943, she filed a groundbreaking lawsuit against the studio. The case, widely covered by the press, was a risky move that could have ended her career. No actor had ever dared to challenge a major studio in such a direct way. Warner Brothers retaliated by painting her as ungrateful and difficult, but Olivia's resolve never wavered. She presented herself with dignity, arguing that the studio's practices were not only unfair but illegal. In a landmark decision in 1944, the court ruled in Olivia's favor. The verdict, known as the de Havilland decision, declared that no studio could enforce a contract beyond 7 years, regardless of suspensions. This victory sent shockwaves through Hollywood, empowering actors to take control of their careers and negotiate better terms. Olivia's courageous stand reshaped the entertainment industry, earning her the admiration of her peers and solidifying her legacy as more than just a screen icon. She had become a symbol of independence and artistic integrity. Freed from the constraints of Warner Brothers, Olivia entered a new phase of her career. No longer bound to the studio's demands, she began pursuing roles that showcased her range and depth as an actress. Her first film after the lawsuit, To Each His Own, 1946, was a critical and commercial triumph. Playing a young woman who gives up her child out of wedlock, Olivia delivered a performance so powerful that she won her first Academy Award for Best Actress. With this victory, Olivia proved that her fight for creative freedom had been worth it. She followed up with another Oscar-winning performance in The Heiress, 1949, where she portrayed a shy and awkward woman transformed by heartbreak and betrayal. The role required Olivia to dig deep emotionally, and her nuanced performance remains one of the most celebrated in film history. Her success wasn't limited to awards. Olivia's willingness to tackle challenging and unconventional roles set her apart from many of her contemporaries. In The Snake Pit, 1948, she played a woman struggling with mental illness, a role that required extensive research and sensitivity. The film not only earned critical acclaim, but also raised awareness about the conditions in psychiatric institutions, leading to real-world reforms. While Olivia's professional life flourished, her personal life was filled with both joy and heartbreak. In 1946, she married novelist and screenwriter Marcus Goodrich. The couple welcomed a son, Benjamin, in 1949, but their marriage was far from perfect. Marcus's temper and controlling nature created tension, and Olivia eventually filed for divorce in 1953, citing mental cruelty. Olivia found love again in 1955 when she married Pierre Galante, a French journalist. Moving to Paris marked a new chapter in her life, one far removed from the glare of Hollywood. The couple had a daughter, Giselle, in 1956, and Olivia embraced her role as a mother, striving to provide a stable and nurturing home for her children. Tragedy struck in 1991 when Benjamin passed away from complications related to Hodgkin's lymphoma. Olivia described his death as the greatest sorrow of her life. Despite her grief, she continued to show resilience, dedicating herself to her daughter and grandchildren. Olivia's life off-screen was as dramatic as the roles she played, especially when it came to her rivalry with her younger sister Joan Fontaine. The feud between the sisters was legendary, fueled by childhood competition and professional jealousy. Their rivalry became public knowledge in 1941 when both were nominated for Best Actress at the Academy Awards, Joan for Suspicion and Olivia for Hold Back the Dawn. Joan won, making history as the first siblings to be nominated in the same category, but their estranged relationship took center stage that evening. Joan claimed Olivia didn't congratulate her, while Olivia maintained Joan had ignored her attempts to reconcile. The press amplified the feud, turning it into a Hollywood spectacle. Despite their shared success, the sisters remained distant, exchanging barbs in interviews and competing for roles. Joan's infamous comment, "I married first," won the Oscar before Olivia did, and if I die first, she'll be furious because I beat her to it, epitomized their combative relationship. In 1975, tensions came to a head at their mother's funeral when Joan accused Olivia of excluding her from the arrangements. The sisters never reconciled, with Joan passing away in 2013. Olivia reflected on their relationship with sadness, calling it one of her life's great disappointments. Olivia de Havilland's remarkable career spanned over 5 decades, and her impact on Hollywood extended far beyond her performances. Her fight for actors' rights set a precedent that still benefits performers today. In 2008, she received the National Medal of Arts, and France awarded her the Legion of Honor for her contributions to cinema. Even in her later years, Olivia remained a symbol of elegance and determination. Living in Paris, she embraced a quieter life but continued to attend film festivals and special events celebrating her work. Her legacy was further cemented when she was made a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire at age 101. Olivia passed away on July 26, 2020, at the age of 104. She was the last surviving star of Hollywood's golden age, leaving behind a legacy of resilience, talent, and grace. Her story is a testament to the power of standing up for one's principles and redefining what it means to be a star. To fully understand Olivia de Havilland's struggles and triumphs, it's essential to explore the Hollywood system of her era. In the 1930s and 1940s, the major studios, Warner Brothers, MGM, Paramount, RKO, and others, operated under the studio system, a tightly controlled model that dominated the entertainment industry. Under this system, actors were signed to long-term exclusive contracts that gave studios almost complete control over their careers. Stars were assigned roles without consideration for their preferences, and any refusal to comply often resulted in suspensions. These suspensions weren't just unpaid time off, they extended the length of the actor's contract. Studios also managed their stars' public images, dictating how they dressed, behaved, and even who they dated. The glamorous image of Hollywood's golden age masked the often exploitative practices behind the scenes. For actresses like Olivia, these constraints were particularly stifling. Female stars were frequently typecast in limited roles, love interests, damsels in distress, or ingenues, while their male counterparts had greater freedom to explore a range of characters. Olivia's dissatisfaction with this system grew over time, especially as she became increasingly typecast in roles she had outgrown. Her desire to take on more complex characters clashed with Warner Brothers' plans to keep her in a particular mold. This tension set the stage for her groundbreaking legal battle, a fight that would ultimately expose the cracks in Hollywood's iron grip on its talent. Olivia's lawsuit against Warner Brothers wasn't just a career move. It was a revolutionary act that challenged the status quo of an entire industry. When she decided to take legal action in 1943, no actor had ever dared to go up against a major studio in such a direct way. The stakes were high. If she lost, it could mean the end of her career. The case centered on a California labor law that limited personal service contracts to 7 years. Warner Brothers argued that Olivia's suspension should extend her contract beyond that period, effectively keeping her under their control indefinitely. Olivia's legal team, led by attorney Martin Gang, countered that the studio's practices were not only unethical, but illegal. The trial drew widespread attention from the press, with many in Hollywood closely watching the outcome. Warner Brothers painted Olivia as ungrateful and difficult, but her calm and composed demeanor in court won over public opinion. When asked why she refused certain roles, Olivia simply replied, "I didn't refuse, I declined." Her poise and professionalism became a key part of her defense. In a landmark ruling in 1944, the court sided with Olivia. The decision, known as the de Havilland decision, set a precedent that no studio could enforce a contract beyond 7 years, regardless of suspensions. The impact of this ruling was immediate and far-reaching, granting actors greater freedom to negotiate their contracts and choose their roles. For Olivia, the victory was bittersweet. While it freed her from Warner Brothers' control, the 2-year legal battle had kept her off the screen, a significant sacrifice during the prime of her career. Yet, her courage and determination paved the way for future generations of performers, making her a true pioneer in Hollywood. As Olivia de Havilland aged, she continued to prove that her legacy extended far beyond her time on screen. In 1955, she moved to Paris after marrying French journalist Pierre Galante. Living in France allowed her to step away from Hollywood's glare, embracing a quieter, more personal life. She focused on raising her 2 children and later found joy in being a grandmother. Even in her later years, Olivia remained engaged with the arts. She occasionally returned to acting, taking on roles in television dramas and miniseries. One notable performance was in the 1986 miniseries Anastasia, The Mystery of Anna, which earned her a Golden Globe nomination. Her passion for storytelling never waned. Olivia's legal spirit reemerged in 2017 when she filed a lawsuit against FX Networks over her portrayal in the series Feud, Bet and Joan. She argued that the show misrepresented her as a gossip, tarnishing her reputation. Though the lawsuit was ultimately dismissed, it showed her unwavering commitment to protecting her image and legacy. In her final decades, Olivia was celebrated for her contributions to cinema and her influence on the industry. She received numerous accolades, including the National Medal of Arts in 2008 and France's Legion of Honor. In 2017, at the age of 101, she was made a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, the oldest recipient of the honor. On July 26, 2020, Olivia de Havilland passed away peacefully in her sleep at the age of 104. With her death, Hollywood's golden age lost its last surviving star. Yet her impact endures, from her groundbreaking legal victory to her unforgettable performances. Olivia's life serves as a testament to resilience, grace, and the power of standing up for what is right.